I completely agree. The time of any transition, whether it's divorce, career transition, um, a health diagnosis, or something like that, it can be a time of so much confusion, right? So that's
Mhm.
why it's great that we start with clarity. And then there are so many challenges and obstacles that are unique, right, to people who are going through a transition
Yeah.
that also need to we need to focus on. What support systems do you think people can create when they're going through a life transition so that they
Yeah.
can come out on the other side?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you mentioned a great point that there is like this a lot of unique challenges and situations that come up when you're going through a life transition. And, one of the big things is that there's grieving involved with any life transition. And,
Mhm.
I say this even, even with like quote unquote positive life transitions, there's grieving, right? So, like, some of the life transitions that I mentioned before were, like burnout, career transition, divorce, that sort of thing. But, getting married, having a child, like these are all quote unquote positive life transitions.
Mhm. Yeah,
But even those have some phase and some component of grieving because
there's some loss involved.
there's
Yes.
always some loss involved, right? Because in order for any change to occur, that means by the nature of change that something is
Something else
going
has to go.
away or you're losing something, right? Or it's changing in some way, it's shifting, it's not going to look the same as it did before. But in that, it's also creating space for something new and different. And sometimes it can feel so. On the one hand, there is grieving involved, right? So just allowing yourself to process that grief. And then also learning how to also embrace and cope with that uncertainty, right? So, where are you going to find your certainty, your anchor
Mhm.
through this change, right? Because often it's
Agree.
that uncertainty that causes so much fear and worry and anxiety because when you're in the middle of it, often it can be really hard to know what it's going to look like on the other side, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
But that's part of the process and that's part of the transformation. And so through my process and through my method, really I help individuals ground into their sense of self,
Mhm.
cultivate that connection with their deep inner self as their anchor, as
And
well
cultivate.
as
Yeah.
specific habits, like empowering habits and routines to ground yourself into those routines as well as through cultivating the mind body connection. So, really empowering yourself with these tools so that you can, one, obviously clear through some of that chaos, as well as allow yourself space to grieve and process that and find some acceptance through that and create the habits, the tools, the inner connection to help be your guiding light
Yeah.
through this phase of uncertainty to help get you through the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. And also cultivate that safety, sense of safety within so that you can process all the changes that are going through in your life.